fans supporting you here in Linz tonight. A lot of fans from the Philippines, but I heard they actually live in Austria. Some of them are in Vienna, some of them in Linz, in Salzburg. What did it mean to you to also have a lot of people cheering for you?
It means so much. Hello mga kababayan. Hindi ko inakala ang dami ninyo dito sa Linz, pero salamat sa pagsubaybay sa mga laban ko at magkita tayo tomorrow. Yes.
And going back to Linz, I know it's your first time here. How do you enjoy it so far?
I think it's amazing. I'm really happy with how they've welcomed me and welcomed the Filipinos. I think, I guess we match really well because there are a lot of them here. So I'm really thankful for the hospitality. I hope to discover your culture more and have some fun on the court.
Yeah. And I guess the fans are having some...
Okay, real talk for a second. Before today, if you told me a 20-year-old from the Philippines was going to walk onto red clay in Austria in front of a crowd that wanted nothing more than to watch her lose against a woman who has spent 13 years mastering this exact surface and then win comfortably in straight sets, I would have told you to relax. I would have said, look, Alex is special, we all know that, but clay is a different animal. Clay exposes you. It slows everything down. It amplifies every weakness. And it gives the crowd time to get inside your head. It is the surface that separates the good players from the complete ones. And the narrative around Alex going into this week was pretty clear. She is a hard-court player, a fast surface specialist, someone who thrives when the ball is skidding low and the points are short. That was the label. That was the box they put her in. And on a Tuesday afternoon in Linz, Austria, she picked that box up and threw it into the Danube. 1 hour and 42 minutes. 6-4, 6-3.
Done. Clean.
Surgical. Not a fluke, not a lucky escape, not a grind where she barely held on and stumbled across the finish line. A controlled, composed, tactically brilliant performance against Julia Grabher, an Austrian playing on home soil, backed by an entire stadium chanting her name, a woman with 369 career clay court victories. Let that number breathe for a moment. 369 wins on clay. That is not a clay court player. That is a clay court institution. And Alex dismantled her like she was solving a puzzle she had already seen before. So let me take you inside what actually happened out there because the scoreline alone does not do it justice. The first thing you need to understand is the atmosphere. This was not a neutral venue. Linz is Grabher's backyard. The Upper Austria ladies is practically a home tournament for her, and the crowd treated it exactly that way. Every point Grabher won got a roar. Every error from Alex got a cheer. Every break point, and there were 10 of them, felt like a collective exhale from a stadium willing their player over the line. 10 break points.
Think about that.
A 13-year clay veteran manufactured 10 separate opportunities to break Alex's serve. 10 moments where the match could have tilted, where the crowd could have swung the momentum, where the pressure could have cracked something open. And Alex saved 9 of them. 9 out of 10. That is not a statistic. That is a psychological statement. Because here is what happens to an opponent when they keep earning those moments and keep coming up empty. The first time you save a break point, the crowd groans and resets. The second time, there is a little more tension. By the 5th, 6th, 7th time you have been right there, and the door keeps closing in your face, something shifts. You stop trusting the moments. You start wondering if today is just not your day. You are no longer playing tennis. You are fighting your own doubt while also trying to play tennis, and that is a battle you almost never win. Alex turned 10 opportunities into 1 conversion.
1.
Grabher clawed back a single break across the entire match, and by then the damage was already done. On the other end of the court, Alex was not waiting around for luck. She created 7 break-point chances of her own and converted 3 of them, a 43% conversion rate. There is a big difference between a player who hopes to break serve and a player who hunts for it. The way Alex constructed those points, moving Grabher around, identifying the patterns in her service games, finding the right moment to go for the line. That was hunting. That was a player who had done her homework and was executing it in real time, under real pressure. Now here is something that a lot of people glossed over when they saw the final score. Alex did not hit a single ace.
Not one.
0 aces across 53 service points won. In modern professional tennis, big servers use aces as an emergency exit. When the pressure spikes, you go for the big one down the tee, you get your free point, you reset. Alex did not have that luxury, or rather, she did not use it. Every single point she won on serve was earned through placement, through spin, through rally construction, through thinking 2 and 3 shots ahead of her opponent. That is the Nadal Academy blueprint right there. The idea that the serve is not the destination. It is the opening sentence of a story you have already planned. And the second serve numbers back this up in a way that is genuinely alarming if you are scheduled to play her on clay this season. Alex won 63% of her second serve points. 63.
On clay.
In her first competitive clay match of 2026. The second serve is supposed to be the moment of maximum danger for the server. The ball sits up a little higher, the returner has a fraction more time, the balance of power shifts. And Alex won nearly 2/3 of those exchanges. Meanwhile, Grabher, the clay specialist, won 50% of her own second serve points. A coin flip. Every time she missed that first serve, it was essentially 50-50 whether she would survive the point. Against Alex, that is not a percentage you can build a match on. The total points number tells the full story in the simplest way. 76-65. Alex won 11 more points than Grabher across the whole match. In tennis, 11 points over 2 sets is not a margin. It is a statement of control. She never let Grabher find her rhythm. She never allowed the kind of long, grinding, suffocating baseline exchanges that clay specialists use to drag opponents into deep water. She managed the tempo like someone who understood exactly what kind of match Grabher needed and refused to give it to her. And she did all of this coming off 8 consecutive hardcourt tournaments. Auckland, Melbourne,
Manila.
Abu Dhabi,
Doha. Dubai.
Indian Wells, Miami. 8 events on fast surfaces, 0 competitive clay matches in 2026 before today. Most players need time to readjust when they switch surfaces. The footwork changes, the swing adjustments take a few matches, the timing on returns feels slightly off for a week or 2. Alex walked out there in round 1 and looked like she had been playing on dirt all year. That kind of adaptability is not something you can fake. It comes from having a game that is built on intelligence rather than surface preference, from understanding how to construct points rather than relying on conditions to do the work for you. It comes, in no small part, from spending years training at the Rafa Nadal Academy in Mallorca, where clay is not a surface. It is a language you are expected to speak fluently before you leave. So, what does this mean going forward? Because here is where the story gets really interesting. The next opponent is Jelena Ostapenko, former French Open champion, 2017 Roland Garros winner, when she walked into Paris as an unseeded 20-year-old and dismantled everyone in her path with a brand of tennis that nobody had quite seen before. Full swing, flat, fearless, going for lines that other players would not even consider. She is the 4th seed in Linz, currently ranked 23rd in the world, and her forehand alone is the kind of weapon that keeps coaches awake at night. Now here's the thing. Alex has beaten Ostapenko twice. Miami last year, 7-6, 7-5. Eastbourne as well. She owns the head-to-head. But those wins came on hard courts, and clay is a completely different conversation with a player like Ostapenko. On clay, her flat, aggressive ball striking gets even more dangerous in certain moments because she does not give the surface time to slow things down. She takes the ball early and sends it back before you have settled. But she also makes more errors on clay because the margins she plays with are incredibly thin, and when it is not going in, it goes spectacularly wrong. If Alex can get into long exchanges, if she can push Ostapenko into the kind of patient, constructed rallies that the Latvian does not enjoy, this match becomes an absolutely fascinating chess game between 2 different philosophies of clay court tennis. One player who uses the surface to build, and one who wants to burn it down before it has a chance to develop. But before we get there, let us just sit with what happened today a little longer. Because I think sometimes in tennis we move on too fast. We see the result, we note it, we look to the next round, and we miss the weight of the moment. Alex is 20 years old. She was born in the Philippines. She grew up watching tennis from a country that has never had a player at this level of the game. She carries that with her every time she walks onto a court, not as pressure, but as purpose. The number of Filipinos who watched today, from Manila to Cebu to Davao to Los Angeles to London to Dubai, people staying up late or waking up early just to catch a live stream, people flooding comment sections in Tagalog and English, and everything in between. That is not just a fan base. That is a movement. And Alex has talked about what that energy feels like.
She feels it.
She has said it directly. These moments, the big stages, the hostile atmospheres, the matches that mean something beyond just a ranking point. This is exactly what she works for. And the tournament director in Linz, Sandra Reichel, said before the week began that having Alex in the draw was incredible for the Philippines, for the fans, for the global tennis community. Today, Alex paid that compliment back with interest, in front of a crowd that was not exactly rooting for her, on a surface that was not exactly supposed to be her home.